And we got a green light. That means that we're live. Mike, are you with me?
I'm with you. Always.
Cool. Oh, we got 0 people watching right now. Would you like to have a live show with nobody watching? How would you like that?
Yeah.
Maybe we just wait a little bit until people come in.
I'm here to entertain myself.
Okay, so we'll start off by, I did a quick search here on the auctions for 1990 and earlier vehicles, and then anything with a manual transmission. So we'll see what we got here. We actually have 258 of them at auction at the moment. I don't know if we're actually even online. It's weird to not have anybody here. Usually people start coming in before the stream, but nobody's even in the comment section. No Bill Courtney is, but strange.
Where is everyone?
And so, can you see? Are you watching me?
I can see that we're live. I
Let's
can
go.
see 0 watching though.
Oh, we got 1 person watching. Welcome to the stream.
Oh,
You're the only person watching us.
You gotta type something.
Who is it? Who are you? Did you accidentally click this video? Excuse me.
Philip Smith. Welcome.
Hi, Philip.
This is just
How you doing?
for you.
Yeah. For now, it's just for you. When we get our second person in, you can actually have somebody to talk to. Oh, we got 3 people now. 4 people. No, 3. Just 3. And everybody who's here has typed something. This is our party for 3. Okay, so let's go through this list and see what we can find that's interesting. We got some sort of a Datsun. And remember, we can't pick USS auctions for checking these out, but Mitsubishi Galant GSR is kind of interesting, so I'll open that one up. City Cabriolet is always fun to take a look at. 2002 Ti. Actually, the Tii is different from the Ti, and it's faster. Skyline. A forklift. Yeah, we'll take a look at a forklift. Everybody wants a forklift. Naoko, we got okay to buy that city.
Okay. But I have one. This car has no AC. Is that okay?
This car has no AC. Okay, hold on for now. Okay. And I'm not going to do 2 things at the same time. Phone, get out of here. Okay, a Hilux pickup, a rear-wheel drive one. Kind of boring. Kind of interesting, kind of boring. I don't know. 180SX. You got any suggestions, Mike, that we can start the stream off with?
I like that Datsun that you had.
Nah, sorry, I already passed that screen.
I thought you were opening tabs.
I'll go back.
Okay.
Which Datsun?
I can't remember. I thought you opened it up on one of the tabs. One of the interesting ones.
This one?
Yeah.
This one? This one? This one? There are no Datsuns. Instead, there is a forklift. So, if you want to buy a forklift from Japan, go ahead. It's a Toyota forklift. Pardon me for 1 second.
Sorry guys, we'll be back in just a moment.
They can hear you on the stream. And I'm back. Okay, so I don't know anything about forklifts, so I don't know why we pulled this one up. Mike, what do you know about a forklift?
I can drive one.
Can you?
Yeah.
What did you pick up?
Lots of stuff. Like, I don't know, like pallets and with bizarre things on them, yeah.
Pallets with bizarre things on them.
Yeah.
How long does it take you to get used to rear wheel steering?
Maybe an hour?
That's it?
Yeah, probably less. They're like pretty intuitive.
Have you ever made a mistake with a forklift? Like, you know how the
I was
forklift
very
can go up and
careful.
down, but
Yeah.
also the top goes front and back, so
Yeah.
that when it goes higher up, you need to tilt it further back, right?
Yeah.
You've never dropped anything off the top or something?
No, I've never dropped anything.
That's cool that you can drive a forklift.
Yeah.
Now we're going to buy one just so that you can have a forklift, so you can reminisce
Sure.
the old days of working in a warehouse.
Yeah.
How long did you do that? I think it was just to learn what warehousing was like, right?
Yeah,
In a very
yeah.
short time?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, it says the headlights don't work, so we won't buy this one. And the signal lamps don't work.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that they had signal lamps on a forklift.
I didn't know either.
And it says carry capacity is 3.04 tons.
Whoa.
Huh. Okay, well that's boring, so let's get off of that. And I'm not going to give a price estimate for that because I don't know how much a forklift is worth. Okay, quickly go through these ones while you guys are filling up your questions. Mike's going to be taking notes. If you have a piece of paper and a pad, there's one underneath the dealer plates there. On your left. Okay, so let's jump into these ones here. The Galant GSR happens to be one of my favorite 70s cars. We have one of them right now, and
what? Sorry, I'm typing, but I'm trying to shift enter, but it's just sending messages. So it just says hi John, hi John. I apologize for the
Hi John, hi John. Rear wheel drive, 120 horsepower, carbureted side draft, comes stock with Solex. Really fun, really cool. Kind of a different car for from your typical like Levin or Trudeau from the 70s, or Celica. Maybe it's similar to that. I guess you could say it's kind of similar to a Skyline, but it's a 4-cylinder instead of 6-cylinder, so one market slot down from the Skyline. I guess the office is so messy right now. It's been so crazy with having Mike gone for, what, 3 weeks you were gone for?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because that Golden Week plus
Yeah.
plus 2 weeks that you took off.
Yeah.
We're all dead, and we came back from the dead. We are zombies now. Yeah, prices for these I don't really know. The one that we have right now is the MR version, which is the faster version compared to the GSR, like the, I guess, akin to the GTR version of it. But these are old cars. You're going to find that they're typically pretty rusty or have been restored one or more times. But still, the styling is very cool on these, very much like that. And they drive pretty nicely, and that carbureted engine sound is just so nice. Sales price guess for this one, I'm going to guess about $1 million to 1.2 million yen, which is about 8,500 to $10,000 US. And 70s cars are coming up in price. 70s Japanese cars, I'm finding. Not a very good performing car, but it does feel, it's very fun to drive. No cars from the 70s are really going to be good performing cars by today's metrics. It wasn't until kind of the mid to late 80s that good handling cars started appearing. Got our next one here, another car that's not particularly good handling. I think these wheels are actually Mugen wheels, like old Mugen wheels. And then it's an open top, which is cool, I guess. These seem to have been more popular than the Bulldog version of the City Turbo. No turbocharger, keep in mind. They come in automatic and manual, but it seems like most of them are manuals. Middle of the road kind of car. I don't know. The styling is cool. The fact that it's open top is cool. The fact that it's super slow with the fast body kit on it kind of bothers me. I think I've said that before in one of these streams, so I'm not going to continue to be repeating myself. 5-digit odometer, so you don't really know the mileage, even though, like, the seller doesn't say anything. And yes, it says Mugen wheels on here, so let me show you those again. They're a Mugen wheel that I don't think are really that spectacular looking. It says authentic mileage, actually. The seller says that this 24,000 is authentic, and if he says that, probably there are documents to prove that. But I wouldn't trust it, to be honest. How would the seller know that it's authentic mileage without proof? And if they had proof, why didn't they explain what proof that they have on here? So it says it's been in an accident, rear floor dented and end panel dented. Exterior has paint fade, underside surface rust and painted. Front inner panel dented and core support's been replaced. It doesn't look like it's a bad condition car. A bit of rust on the door here, cracked front bumper piece. And I would say probably looking at about 250,000 yen for this, or about 2,000 US dollars. Hey Hunts by Chainsaw, hey Bill Courtney. William Hankins Jr. is a new name. 1988-1991 Toyota Supra with Target Tops non-turbo. Not many Target Tops here in Japan. That was a much more popular option in the US than it was in Japan. If you can find one here, they're pretty expensive, especially one that's legal to be imported. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm talking about the Mark IV. Mark III Target Tops. I think that they are very rare, but I don't know the answer to that, so I'm going to have to pass on that question. How much can you trust auction inspections? I've seen cars that gone through auctions 8 to 10 times. They're rated R, then later auctions they're rated 4 to 4.5. David, I've seen some cars that were graded R and we've bought them and they haven't been in accidents. I've seen that happen before, and that could be an experience of that happening. The R grade is sometimes a little bit of a gray area because it just means that the car has been in an accident and has been repaired, and sometimes the way that the car is built from the factory kind of looks like it was hand done. And therefore can look like it has been in an accident, or sometimes one inspector might grade something as an accident even though it was very, very, very small. So like 5 km/h or 3 mph damage to the car might result in it being graded an R grade car. Because of that, you really have to take a look at the auction sheet. For example, this one here, this one is an R grade, so it's been in an accident, but that doesn't mean that it's been written off. The accident damages the rear floor and the end panel are dented. That can happen just by backing into a curb. And then the core support has been replaced, so definitely it actually has been in an accident. But if you look on the body here, the hood and the fender have been replaced. That gives you a better idea of how big the accident was. It required a hood replacement, a fender replacement, core support replacement, which is the metal that the top of the radiator attaches to, and then the front inner panel, which is right in here. It's what the suspension attaches to, and that has been repaired from an accident. I would call this accident about a 4 out of 10, and if you're worried about accident grade cars, then probably I would say no to this one. It looks like the hood is popped up, so this misalignment here is probably due to the hood not being closed properly, not because of the accident damage. Typically, I would say okay for an accident if it's about 5 out of 10 or lower, and if it's a big accident like the roof has been replaced or there's a lot of damage. Like this one has just the front inner panel damaged. It doesn't have the baffle dented. It doesn't have inner panel damage on the other side. Both supports weren't replaced, the core support and the lower support. And so, I don't know, to me it doesn't really bother me. Also, it depends too on which type of car that you're looking at. A lot of cars like this kind of car, much more commonly seen as accident repaired cars, because throughout its life this car has had, well, not this one, you can see the rust on the back, but this type of car has had enough value to it so that if you crash the car, it isn't necessarily a write-off, whereas something like this may have been worth only $100 maybe 10 years ago. It's much more likely that something like this would have been not repaired had it been in a serious accident. So take, for example, an S13, maybe 80% of them have been in accidents by this point. Maybe about that. Is that what you've seen, Mike? For S13, about how many of them are in R grade, do you think?
What did you say? 6?
I said probably about 80%, but it may be lower than that. I don't really know.
70 to 80% I'd say is fair, yeah.
And so what that does is when you have a percentage that's really high of accident repaired vehicles, you'll find that ones that haven't been in an accident or ones that have been in a smaller accident tend to be a little bit more expensive, or maybe even a lot more expensive. On the other hand, anything that's a sports car, a lot of times a sports car, if it's in an accident, the owners don't care because they're like, I want a sports car, and there's a big demand for kind of the lower end of the price range. It's a bit complicated, and I guess there's also a lot of information that we have to pick out from the stats that we see, and just because it's hard to look at stats and have enough statistics in our brain at any one time without doing an actual study to tell exactly what it is. So there's going to be a little bit of what you could consider like misinformation, just because it's so difficult to understand how these price curves work. Anyways, that's more than I really want to get into. I do want to see that slammed accord Euro R bill. That sounds pretty awesome.
Oh.
But this one here, let's just quickly go over this one because I had it up from the beginning. So it looks like this one's in terrible, 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 terrible condition. I don't think that they get in worse condition than this. Price for this is still going to be about 300,000 yen, I think. So there's huge damage to the roof. Bad paint here, cracked side skirt, lots of corrosion holes on the back, cracked front bumper, big scratches, battery has been replaced. And then look at all of these comments on here. It's so full that they can't write anymore. And so with a car like this, when you ask, can I trust the auction sheet? If it has this many marks on it, I would say there's probably going to be a number of other things that they just didn't write on there because they tried to write the most important ones there, but don't have enough space nor time to write everything. So if your car is like this, I would say you can't really trust the auction sheet that much. If your car is kind of a newer car, none of these are new cars, they're all old cars. If your car's a newer car, maybe 10 years old, then auction sheets are going to be a lot more specific about any damage that they can find and anything that they mark on it. Okay, so yeah, 300,000 yen for this, so about $2,500, which to me is really not worth it. But like I said, there are a lot of people who are going for the low end of the market because that's either all they can afford or they just want to get that car and they think, oh, I could fix that up. To be honest, most of the time, the cars don't get fixed up when somebody thinks that they're going to fix up the car. But I guess that's a different story. Oh, and this one here is the CA18 turbo engine, not the SR20, so perhaps it would be a little bit less than that. Maybe $220,000 or so. Okay, so the BMW 2002 is starting to get expensive. The turbos got expensive about 20 years ago. The non-turbos were generally seen as pretty cheap cars up until about 5 years ago. And nowadays you're looking to spend about $1,000,000 or about $8,000 for one of these, depending. And the condition varies a lot from a really good one to a really bad one. So it's hard to tell exactly what you're going to pay. So for example, this one here says the engine doesn't run very well, which wouldn't be, for this type of car, wouldn't be that big of a deal. Dashboard is cracked, color changed. It wasn't originally this color of green. Front inner panel is dented, underside surface rust and corrosion, pretty expected for a car that's this old. Front bumper molding has been removed. I guess there's like a rubber piece that's supposed to go on this. Rear floor dented, headliner is ripped, battery size is different from the original one, and it says the original Campagnolo wheels. A little bit difficult to read that one. Injection model. So I guess that some of these came carbureted. This one here has fuel injectors. 1979 would have been the beginning of fuel injectors in cars, so that's kind of interesting. Did not know that they did come fuel injected and carbureted. Not a lot of cars come with both of those. So original steering wheel, half leather seats, very cool looking car, and feels really good for a 70s car. Most 70s cars feel very 70s. I feel these felt more modern than most other 70s cars during that era. And so yeah, for this one, considering the engine's not running, that one really could go either way. If someone takes a look at the car and realizes it's only something like bad gas in the tank, and the tank needs to be cleaned out and the pipes need to be cleaned out, that's probably not going to lower the price very much. But if it's an engine that requires a rebuild, that would increase the price a lot. So I could see this anywhere from about 600,000 yen to about 1.5 million yen. The Toyota Mega Cruiser. You see them every once in a while, but they're really expensive. I don't even know how much they cost, but really, really expensive. They're kind of like the Toyota Hummer. Don't see them very often, though, because they're so expensive and so unsuitable for Japanese roads. Over to this one. I already went over this one, and I already went over this one. So we're we're free to take your guys' picks if you want, and questions. So, Mike, you got anything for me?
Someone was asking, did you already go over the Land Cruiser?
Somebody was asking Mega Cruiser?
Early 90s diesel Land Cruisers. What's your opinion and common issues?
For the early 90s Land Cruisers, there's a few different versions of them. Early 90s was you could buy a 70 series or an 80 series during that time. And they're kind of different vehicles, kind of similar. I guess if you're into Land Cruisers, then you'll know the difference. I'll just pull them up. All Land Cruisers are amazing, and so there's really nothing that you can do wrong in the Land Cruiser. 70 series, this one here is like the 2015 version of the 70 series, and they made it from like 1984 until like, I guess around the world right up until today. But in Japan, I think they made them up until like 98 and then stopped making them until the 2015s. And then this one here is an 80 series. I mean, this is a toy car, but this is what the 80 series looks like. Let's see if we can find an older 70. There we go. So 70 series is the work truck version, and they're stronger and more reliable and slower, I guess. And then the 80 series is the more luxurious version. Where's a good image of one? This one here, because that's kind of close to stock. I prefer the 70 series, but I can see why some people would like the 80 series better. And I really like them both so much. I think that they're so well built, and the engine feels so nice, and the amount of torque and the sound that they make is very good. It's kind of one of those cars that's hard to explain how good it is until you got a chance to actually see it and drive it. And so good. And both of them look so great with modifications. 70 series you can get in a short wheelbase, 80 series you can't. 70 short. So the short wheelbase has only 2 doors. And then there is a removable top version. Actually, this one is our picture. I love when that happens. Right, Mike?
Yeah. That's cool.
And there's a Lupo in the background. Oh no! That's our Golf.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sad now.
No.
Here's another one that's ours. Here's our BB in the background. Oh, that's not ours. That's not ours. I'm just going to click on the pictures that are our cars. Yeah, doesn't that look great with the bigger wheels and the raised suspension? And the fender mirrors. And this one has the removable top. If you remove the top, though, it's a little bit weird because the back doors go all the way up to the roof. And so you kind of have to remove the back doors, too. So the FRP. So let's see if we can get a picture of it with the top removed. And so there's a kit that you can get that makes the doors into half-size doors. And then Toyota sold this new on some of the models, but it was very rare. So usually the back doors look like this. And then on some of them you can remove just these window panes. But on none of the ones we've ever bought had that option. And so I'm going to say it's a pretty rare one. And then prices for them are both about 1 million yen, or about $8,000 plus extra fees. Is the Golf sold? No, the Golf is in Canada. It's just kind of sitting there for now. I kind of want to just keep it in Canada for the rest of my life because I like it that much. It's weird. It's weird how non-fast cars, but still sporty cars, can be so fun to drive.
Oh, topical. Very topical.
Yeah, I took the Mazda Roadster out for driving in the mountains, and then I let Mike drive it today, and he was pretty impressed by it.
I was overwhelmed.
If people haven't driven a Mazda Roadster or a Miata before, you should definitely try to do that before you die, especially the first generation. I like all of them a lot, but the first generation is really kind of the smallest, lowest power one. Feels the most like a Roadster, I guess. Do I chat on Skype? Most of the time we prefer to do phone calls, actually, because it's difficult to run a business Skype between multiple different people. So if you would prefer to call us, like you can call us anytime, or if you want us to call you, send us an email and we'll call you back, that sort of thing. Skype is a little bit strange. I find sometimes it's just not good connection, and then also you have to look at us. And I don't know if we want to be looked at while we're talking to people. I mean, you can see us here on the live stream. This is kind of like a chat. But it also would be a little bit strange if we get, like, I'm sure Mike is okay with it, but if we get some salespeople that would feel uncomfortable doing live chat with people, I don't want to force somebody into doing something like that they wouldn't want to do. And then we would have, you know, some reps that would do it and some that wouldn't. It'd be kind of inconsistent service. To me, it seems like something unnecessary. And if you're STI 555, call me, not me call you, because you can call us if you want. But if you call right now, you'll be calling during the live stream. And I don't think anyone's ever done that, have they, Mike? Do you think
someone, yeah.
Like, or like was watching the live stream and then decided to call?
Oh, no, I don't think so.
Yeah, so that's a challenge to anybody who wants to be a pain in the butt. Mike, Bill says that he had a 94 Roadster, Miata, right?
Okay.
He says that he barely fit, but you're a big guy.
The
The Mazda is perfect size for me.
Yeah.
Absolutely perfect size.
I didn't notice any problem at all. The hard top, when the hard top's on, it's kind of like...
Oh yeah, it is quite
head,
tight.
but...
Yeah, even with the soft top, it's like that.
But with the roof off, tremendous.
Yeah, you would like, because the top is so close to your head, if you're going around corners really quick and your head's all bobbing around, you're going to hit your head on something.
Yeah. Roof off only.
Yeah, let's take the roof off. We went driving with the roof off, and then when we came in at like 2:30 in the morning, and the neighbor was very not impressed with us coming in with our sports exhaust at 2:30 in the morning. So she was yelling at us out the window, and so I didn't want to put the top on, so I left the top off, and we just got out of there to be as nice as we could to our neighbors. Came back the next day. Actually, I was taking a nap the next day because I was pretty tired, sometime around 3 o'clock, and it started to rain really heavily, and so the car got rained on for only about 15 minutes or so, and it didn't actually get that wet inside, but it sure was a panic when I saw the rain come, because I thought it was going to be sunny all day. We've sold a Mazda Cosmo. I don't know the year. It was the very first year that they were ever made. I think it was 66, but it could have been 67. It's on our board over there. It's the most expensive car that we've sold, but we don't have the year, so I don't know. An L10A, not the L12. I don't know. Don't know enough about those cars. Let's see, I'm taking a look at the chat here. Someone's asking if this is our email, but then it got flagged because it's an email address, and I guess YouTube automatically flags email addresses. And the answer is yes, that's our email address on there. It's interesting that people like the Mark III Supra, to William Hankins. Having driven that car, I'm not really impressed by it compared to a lot of other cars. And I think that's okay, because the engine is lovely. But if you're looking for that car and that engine, there, I feel like the Soarer is a better pick, and I feel like the, what else? Mark II, JZX80s, JZX90s. And the Mark III is good if you can get them for a good deal, but no longer in Japan are they a good deal for the twin turbo ones.
They look amazing, but I've never driven them.
And a lot of people really like them. And so it's, I just find it odd because the people who like them like different cars than me. That's fine, right?
You don't like the look of them?
Not really.
Oh.
I like the pop-up headlights.
Yeah.
But I like the look of the 8.6 a lot better than the Supra. And I like the look of the previous generation Supra. I just, the Mark III, I don't know, it feels like Toyota dropped the ball on that one when they were going strong with all of their other ones. It feels kind of to me like a Fox body Mustang. Like...
Oh, I see.
And I don't think the Fox body is bad, and I don't think the Supra is bad. I don't know, it doesn't do it for me.
I'm going to find a picture to convince you otherwise.
I don't know, I don't think that they handle modifications well either. I think that they look better stock than modified. I don't think they look good with bumpers on them because they're that weird mix between like round car and boxy car, and like boxy body kits don't tend to look that good, and round body kits don't either.
About that. Does it remind you of the BMW? The
8 Series?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. I like the 8 Series a lot though, but I also like cars that break down all the time. Maybe I would like the Supra better if it was super unreliable, and then nobody ever wanted it, and then I can be like, I got this all to myself, and I got this bag of money on the side to repair it every week.
The older Supra is better. You're right.
And I like the looks of the Mark IV, but it's another car that is not really, it doesn't really do it for me. Okay, we got another 2 minutes only because we're doing a half-size stream today because we're going to be really busy, and Mike especially has to get back and do his emails. And so what are we going to do? We didn't even take a look at any of the cars except for the ones that I picked. So did somebody send in a...
There was an Accord from Bill
Oh,
Collins.
yeah. What's the number for that one?
4085 JUIG.
This one? JUIG, yes.
Blue?
Yeah. Man, I love these cars. You know, because my city engine is in need of changing, I was thinking about doing an engine swap, and so I was taking a look at Honda engines. And this engine would be lovely to put in there, but I realized the Honda City is a very difficult car to do engine swaps in compared to most other cars, and the payoff probably wouldn't be worth it. Especially in Japan. In Japan, they don't know how to do engine swaps here very well compared to in most other countries. And so if you can find a shop that knows what they're doing, they're going to charge an awful lot of money for it. And I don't know enough about cars in general to, or about like the mechanics of an engine swap in order to do it. I think I could if I had enough time and I could figure it out. But I just don't, it would be an investment I don't really need to make, and it would hurt me in other ways. Okay, so about this one, this is the CL7. It comes with an H20 engine, which is a 2-liter, which is a bit weird because the Accord Euro R before it came with a 2.2-liter, but here in Japan you get lower taxes for a 2-liter engine than a 2.2, so I can see why they did it. And people tend to like this engine better than the K series engine that came before it. K22, is that right? I don't know. Honda people tend to know more than I do. Although I have 2 Honda cars, I wouldn't consider myself a Honda person. I very much like them, but I don't know. I'm not an anything person. Are you a person? Like a...
Yeah, I hope so.
You know what I'm talking about, right? Like,
Yeah.
Like people who define themselves as one brand and know an awful lot about that brand more so than any other brand, and then hates other... I mean, that's going negative, but typically doesn't doesn't really appreciate other cars the same as their brand, right?
No, I don't really mind.
What?
I prefer certain cars over other cars, I guess.
And I prefer certain brands over other brands, but I can always find cars of any brand that I like.
Yeah.
And I do like Hondas very much. I just don't know an awful lot about them. Somebody sent in another question. Is this your email? That's funny. Yes, it's the one that you just copied that from our website, so I'd say it's pretty trustworthy. Okay, so condition of this one, we got some peeling paint here, bad scratch there. We got some paint fade in the back quarter, cracked front bumper. You can kind of see that in the pictures. Not really a big fan of the looks of this one. I quite like this car without the rear spoiler on it. Looks like an Integra rear spoiler. I do kind of like the rear bumper in a Midnight Club Fast and the Furious kind of way. Not something that I typically think looks the best, but I can see the appeal of something that kind of is over the top, crazy looking like that. Left side has been repaired. Aftermarket suspension, that's pretty obvious. And I feel like I hear that these are good cars to drive, but I don't have my experience with them. But very reliable, very nice feeling engine, that's what I've heard. Good build quality. I think that we've sold a few of them, I can't remember. But never had a chance to actually drive one, and would love to. 189,000 kilometers. I don't really know the prices of these, and so I can't really give an accurate price. Has a 6-speed manual. Recaro seats. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's in the best of condition, so I'd probably say it's going to sell for pretty low. Hasn't been at auction recently. And no reserve on this one, and hasn't been at auction anytime in the last 6 months. So, yeah, if I were to guess, maybe 200,000 yen. A good one of these, I believe, is somewhere in the range of about 600,000 to $1 million, and maybe a little bit over $1 million in exceptional cases.
I like CLP's comment.
Look at the guy in the driver's seat cosplaying a deployed airbag. What is going on there? I can't really tell.
I don't know. It looks like something attached to a mirror, but...
Look, he's completely invisible in this picture.
Yeah.
Yes. Elias, sorry, we're at the end of our spontaneous live stream. Because we got to get back to work selling cars. We got a lot of catching up to do because very busy last few months. In March, sold 71 cars, which is way above our max that we've ever sold before. And then in April, we sold 45, which is still above our average. And so we got a busy few months to catch up and do reports and stuff like that on those cars. So we actually have a pickup in 7 minutes here, so we got to go. So time to say goodbye to everyone. So thanks for tuning in. Hopefully next week we'll be caught up enough to do a full hour. And we might change these to 45 minutes because an hour is taking a lot of time, and I'm not sure if it's that much of a benefit for people to stick around for that long. Anyways, that's going to be the end. Goodbye, everyone. Say goodbye, Mike.
Goodbye, and if anyone has any questions, please email us.
Yeah? Were there a bunch of unanswered questions?
Some people are just looking to send emails about things.
Someone says, could you send an email about AE86 auctions? Could I send you an email? Yeah, but most of the people who ask us about 8.6s don't end up buying 8.6s. So keep that in mind. It's very, 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 very rare that somebody would say, I want to buy an 8.6 and then not buy it, like a 1 in 100, considering the emails that we get. Because most people who want to buy the 8.6 don't want to pay the stupid expensive prices that they cost these days. And there are a lot of really bad condition ones. So anyways, time to log off. Thank you, everybody. And bye for now.